Now I am moving on to piece 16, and this one I'm going to do on the freezer paper, and so I actually have put this on my light box so that I can see. Let's see, you can't see. Let's see if I can adjust that some. There, now you can kind of see the piece there. So I'm going to use my pen and just trace. I have to move it where I can work here. Just going to trace, and these dotted lines don't have to be exact because of course they are going to be underneath other fabric, so it really doesn't show. And I'm going to label this as piece 16. And once again, I have done this one because I'm doing it on the freezer paper. This is the flat side of the freezer paper. The shiny side is here. Let me go ahead and turn this off so the light box is in the way. So the shiny side is here. I have it down, and I have flipped my pattern over so that I'm actually tracing it reverse of what it needs to go on the quilt. So that was a nice thing about the light box, was that, or a window works too, is that I can still see these lines, and it made it easy to trace onto the paper. Now I'm going to cut around my shape. I want to do that with scissors so that this line in particular is nice and smooth, because if I have it lumpy bumpy, then my pattern is going to be lumpy bumpy. So I'm going to trim that out and then press it onto the fabric I'm using for piece number 16. So I've pressed the freezer paper onto shiny side, goes onto the wrong side of the fabric here. I've got that ready to go. And then remember, for these with the freezer paper, I'm just using my little Hera tool here and just following along the edge of my template, the freezer paper template, on the fabric. And I'm pressing down rather firmly so that I will have a nice crease when I'm done. Now remember, at this point you could, because it does leave a mark, you can kind of faintly see it, you could just take your fingers and finger press it. That would also work nicely for needle turn too. What I'm going to use is this handy dandy little roller pressing tool. Just where the fabric has been creased, it wants to naturally fold, and then the template acts as another helper to get it into place. So I'm just going to run my little roller just like a press. So now I have this piece ready to put in place on my quilt. With my prepared piece 16, I'm ready to add it to my quilt. I'm going to peel off the freezer paper first of all here. And then I am going to lay this in place. I'm going to start at this end because I know I want it, this is the heel that it is right here. I know I want it to extend down past this next line, so I'm going to start by making sure that I have it there and work around. Looks like I gave myself plenty of extra there. Just lay this in place, and I can see that I have it down a good bit underneath where it needs to go. Just double checking here, the line I have for it is there, so I can start pinning. And I might just go ahead, since I have so much extra, I'm going to move this over just a bit to make sure I have everything covered here. Like I said, I've got enough extra, so I'm going to bring it down and cover up good there. Alrighty, so I'm going to pin this one into place, and then I will be stitching it down with a green thread along that edge there. Let's see if we can turn off the light so it's not so bright for you. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put that into place, and then I'll be ready for piece 17. I have to tell you, I got so carried away with doing the Appliquick tools that you notice I had folded this side over. I don't need to fold that side over. I only need to have this inside edge here done for the path that's going on next, our piece number 17. So I've laid out once again my pattern underneath my block, and I can see the line here. I'm just going to flip up. This is the line now, the little pathway line. This is what we're going to line up this time. So I'm going to set that there, and then I'll be pinning this into place, and I will stitch down up to this point here. This section up here is, again, it's going to be covered over by this heel number 18, so I only need to stitch around a bit on there. I'll probably go ahead and stitch down to that length, but anyway, there's piece number 17 in place.